It's Platt, and today I asked the question, will it ferment? That's next. Alright, so today I want to start a new video series that's actually inspired by you, the viewers. I get a lot of questions on some of my more popular videos. My most popular video is called Simplest Way to Make Booze at Home, and it's just homemade alcohol. And I've got several videos in that same theme. You know, we make a simple cider, a simple mead, ferment just sugar and water. And I get a lot of questions in the comment section about, well, hey, I don't have this, or I don't have 100% juice. Can I use that, or can I try that, or what have you? And I always try to answer the questions best I can. And generally, one of the answers I always get back is like, well, depends on if it has preservatives. A lot of the beverages out there now will have things like potassium sorbate in there to stop any potential fermentation and to stop any spoilage. So there's always that. Depends. Some people ask me certain things about certain juices, what have you, this, that, and the other. But I thought, well, hey, why not do a video series where you just, hey, let's try to ferment all these different beverages I get asked about, and let's just see what happens. For one thing, I'm kind of eager to do this because I've made certain assumptions off books I've read about yeast or this, that, and the other, that, all right, you can only use this, you can't use that, or whatever. And I thought, well, what the heck, let's just try them. You know, if it doesn't work, all right, a thing of juice down the drain or whatever, everything. So that's what we're going to do here. However long this video series lasts, each video we're just going to try to ferment something else, see if it ferments, because we know if we get fermentation, we will get alcohol production. Now this is different than fermentating, vegetables and stuff, making kimchi. Don't get that confused. We're not going that route, but just the different beverages out there. People ask me about different juice drinks, soft drinks, stuff like that. We're going to try. The first one we're going to try is Cranberry Juice Cocktail. Bird loves it. Cranberry Juice Cocktail. Now the real first question is, what's the difference between that and cranberry juice? I've answered the question, and I have used cranberry juice before to ferment. I did a cran apple cider one time. I think I did just straight cranberry another time. So I know cranberry juice will ferment. So what's the difference? Regular cranberry juice, 100% cranberry juice, is actually not that sweet and kind of has a little tartness to it. So they created Cranberry Juice Cocktail to add the additional sugar, make it more approachable to more palates. So, and basically the way they add the sugar to the cranberry juice is through just the addition of simple syrup, which is just a sugar solution, water sugar solution. So conceptually this should work, but we're always going to need to read the fine print. So let's see what the label tells us. First, it tells us this contains 27% juice, which means there's 73% of something else. And that's what we always have to keep an eye out for, is that something else. Again, we know cranberry juice work. We know, a lot of like regular grape juice would work, but if it's not 100% juice, what's the other percent? So let's go a little further down and see what the label tells us. Ingredients include water, cranberry juice from concentrate. Then in parentheses it tells us what's in the concentrate, which is water and cranberry juice concentrate. So it just sounds like we've got a little bit of concentrate with a lot of water to mix it out. After that we have sugar, which said again, what's make cranberry juice cocktail different. Then we have ascorbic acid, which is vitamin C. Now that might be the mystery guest at the party here, because I've stated when people ask me about acidic juices like orange juice or grapefruit juice, I've always told them, and this is where I'm coming from, is what I've read about yeast. Yeast perform well in a certain pH range, and so if you go too acidic or go too alkaline or whatever, you throw it off. And so that's why I discourage the use of orange, acidic juices like lemon juice, lime juice, what have you. I have done some research lately. It says that might not be 100% true, or that like an orange juice is not quite as acidic as I thought, and it could be possibly used. That might be a future video right there. But anyway, I don't know if this amount of ascorbic acid is going to affect this, but we'll find out. And then the last ingredient is vegetable juice, and in parentheses it says for color. What that could be is, especially with this dark color, is beet juice. I know beet juice gets used in several different things, including the fake burger patties, that are almost like real. They'll use beet juice in that to provide a certain color, but keep it still vegan or what have you. So anyway, that's what's in our cranberry juice cocktail. So let me go over the experiment real quick. What we're going to do, first we'll always do a hydrometer reading to see is there even enough potential sugar in whatever beverage, to get a good fermentation. We will always use, the plan right now is just to stick with a generic kind of ale yeast, nothing too crazy or turbo yeast, nothing like that, but just kind of a generic ale yeast. We'll use that in each experiment. Something I know that will ferment at slightly higher temperatures, to use lager yeast and keep everything in the fridge. I don't know if that would work best for us. So just a generic ale yeast, and we'll always pitch in yeast nutrient just to give them a hand. If we need to do much more than that, then whatever beverage we're fermenting may not be totally suitable. So that's how we're going to do it. So let's get started on this by starting with a hydrometer reading. All right, so time for a gravity reading. I poured a little bit out, and let's see what this gets us. All right. We are at 1.050, and doing a little guesstimation. If we get down to 1.010, we're going to be around 5.2%, which I think everybody would be kind of happy with. That gets us into the beer range. So we are not going to need to add additional sugar. If we were down to like the 1.020 range, something like that, we probably would have to throw some in. But if we can get 5% alcohol without adding any sugar, we are more than fine with that. So we don't have to add sugar. All we're going to add now is a teaspoon of our yeast nutrient, and then we're going to use about 2 grams of our ale yeast. 2 to 3 grams per gallon is always pretty good equation when going with the yeast. You don't want to overpitch. You definitely don't want to underpitch, but you don't want to overpitch either. So about 2 to 3 grams per gallon will do. So I'm going to dump a little bit more of the cranberry juice out, just make sure we have plenty of head space. And then, when I said, pitch the yeast, add the yeast nutrient, and then we'll come back in a day or two just to see if we have bubbles. And then we'll come back in a week and do another hydrometer reading and see how thoroughly this fermented out, or if it fermented at all, and then we could see if we came out. That's another thing I want to mention about these videos. We're going to shoot for about a week-long fermentation. Even though a lot of things I'll always kind of encourage you to let it ferment out longer. After 1 week, though, we should know if we have fermentation. We're not necessarily, again, looking to produce the highest quality beverage. That's another discussion. We just want to know if we can get fermentation. So we're going to, like I said, I'm going to pinch the yeast, add the yeast nutrient. We'll come back in a few days, but then at the end of the week, we'll know what we have. So I'll see you in a couple days. So it's been about 24 hours, and you can tell by the bubbles, it looks like we have fermentation. Now, I don't have a airlock on this. The size opening on this container is kind of an odd size, and none of my adapters fit, so I just have the cap loose, but you can tell we have bubbles going, and the CO2's still escaping. So it looks like we do have some alcohol being made. We'll check back at the end of the week to see where we're at. All right, gang, so it's been about a week, so we're going to do our final gravity reading, see where we came out. Our original gravity, according to my notes here, I always love these little note for you. I always put these little stickers. I got a bunch of these little stickers I put on my different fermenters, whatever, keep my notes or whatever. Something you might want to do, help you out. Anyway, according to my notes here, our original gravity is 1.050. So let's see where we're at after a little over a week. We're at around 1.00. So I did a quick little Shape 4, that should get us to 7.7% alcohol by volume. I think we could say, without a doubt, this was a success as far as will it ferment, will it produce alcohol. We've definitely achieved that, 7.7. And remember, we did not have to add any additional sugar because Cranberry Cocktail has sugar added to it. So we have alcohol. So all we got is one more thing to do, and that is a little taste test. So let's pour a little bit of the glass and see what we get here. You know what? That's not bad. Definitely has the tartness of cranberry juice. We've fermented out most of the sweetness. This is dry, but not too dry. But actually pretty efficient as far as like a clean tasting fermentation. Fairly clean, even though we use an ale yeast. Normally, like a straw or like a champagne yeast would be a little cleaner. But yeah, this pretty pleasant stuff. So we asked the question, will it ferment? Cranberry Cocktail, it will ferment. Well, I hope you liked this video. If you did, please subscribe down below. Also, please like the video because it lets YouTube know we're putting out good content. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, please leave them in the comment section, or you can always contact me on the Twitter page. Till next time, bottoms up.